is Marie, and welcome to Marie's Chatty Tarot. And today we're going to be talking about euthanasia. So, euthanasia is, from what I understand, is basically the process of a person legally, with the assistance of the government, checking out, killing themselves. So, apparently, there's this article floating around. This lady, her name is Chatty Tarot. She was 23, and she recently checked out through the process of euthanasia. So, from what I understand, in Brussels, it is legal to check out through the process of euthanasia. Again, I'm probably messing this up completely, so if you can help me with in the comments below, that'd be awesome. From what I understand, Miss Chatty Tarot, she was a survivor of an attack, a subway attack in Brussels in 2016, if I remember correctly. And resulting from that attack, many people were hurt, killed, and injured. Although she was not injured, thank God, but resulting from that attack, she had severe depression, and she had PTSD. So, from what I understand, the article, there's an article on New York Post that kind of explained it pretty well. She tried to commit suicide twice since the attack, and I guess apparently either she was not getting the proper help or the medication, or whichever which goes, because the article did not go into details. She seems that to have applied to become a candidate with the government of Brussels, and the government had no problem going along with it, even though she was like a young lady of 23 years old, no physical injury, perfectly healthy. Yes, she has some mental illness. However, I don't think it's fair, because there's so many other people that are pushing through with their mental illness every day. It is her choice, obviously, that she wanted to make, and I respect that. Concerning euthanasia itself, I'm in conflict, because I do see the wisdom sometime in checking out, especially if you are physically hurt and you're physically not able to breathe on your own. There are certain situations where it is understandable to use that process. However, any process that the government legalized can be abused. So that's the scary part about it, especially right now, where there's this big push for depopulation going on. So I would like to see what the cards would want to say about, people using euthanasia to check out. So for those interested, I'm going to be using the Robin Wood tarot deck. I like to use it for Europe a lot. So let's see what the cards wants to say about, not concerning the day, but about the process of using euthanasia in general, to check out. Let's see what the universe wants to say about people using the process. Cutting the cards. Four of Pentacle. Answer to the question. King of Wands, the situation. I'm sorry, Knight of Wands for the situation. Ace of Sword, the recent past. Two of Cups, present. Trying to put everything into frame. Three of Cups. Potential outcome. And see, the deck card has a clarification. And the Empress has another clarification. So that's a really interesting spread in itself, because the first card that comes about is the Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles, if you could see, is a person, he looks a lot like Scrooge, right? And he's holding on to his coin tightly. So you could tell off the bat that he's a person who appears to be very greedy, who's very connected to material possession, who's very possessive of they are. And usually people who exhibit that type of behavior can be seen as selfish, right? Could be somebody who could be seen as only concerned about themselves, right? And only worried about what's going on in the physical world, and not realizing that there is a spiritual world out there, that there is another realm. But they are so concerned, right, about the physical world, so they try to hoard everything for themselves, right? And in doing that, uh, uh, that brings death to you, because there is a world beyond the physical. We all know that. We've seen it in science. We see it in the different gurus. Different religion talks about, the spiritual world. Even when you talk about chakra, different fields of energies that exist, that we may not be able to see, but that are there, right? So off the bat, the card is answering that euthanasia. The universe looks at it as a person who is really self-centered, really greedy, and really stuck into the material world. And in doing that, they lose their connection with the deck card. They lose their connection to source. They could lose their connection to the spiritual world. And because if you don't have hope, if you're not able to see that there can have that type of optimism, then the world is going to be a very ugly place. And this is how it feels with those two cards together. Okay. So the Knight of Wands, so that represents the situation. So the Knight of Wands represent movement. So all wands are fire, motivation, inspiration, movement. Fire in your belly, right? Is somebody who really pushes forward. So in this particular situation, there's a push here. Interesting. There's a push for with the Empress card, a motivation or a push here with the Empress. The Empress is a card of comfort, luxury, a card of abundance. So with that Four of Pentacle, they're so they're so much into themselves and so stuck in what's going on in the material world. With the Knight of Wands, that's what fueled them. What fuels them is is the, what they can see, the world that they see right now. That's what fuels them. That's what propels them. And uh, if in doing so, uh, this is where they feel that you know uh, you only have power in the physical world. That you only have abundance in the physical. You can only flourish in the physical world. And what fuels them is the what's happening in the physical world. So they don't see beyond the physical. Now, with the ace of sword in the back, in the past, recent past, it's as if to say, when time comes, or when the truth, certain information or certain truth comes about, um, I would say maybe shake their foundation, or shake their belief about life, or challenge their way of thinking, or or challenge their bubble. you know they make that agreement with that two of cups. They made that agreement to check out, to uh, I guess uh, to go away, um, because of their hold to the physical, their motivation in being in everything in the physical. And once whatever perception, their view of the world change, or their view of how things are, uh, comes in clear focus, they make this agreement, uh, uh, and I guess use it as a way uh, to celebrate life. I guess that's the way to celebrate life, and to check out, because that's, I guess, in a way, that's probably their way of oh wow, of hmm, of choosing their way to go. And it kind of makes sense, uh, if you had a trauma where life was taken away without your approval, or without, you probably feel like you have more control over yourself, over your life, and you celebrate it more by choosing the way uh, you check out. That is such an interesting way of looking at things. Um, the card itself, the universe doesn't seem to care about whether how you check out matters. Whether you die by suicide, or euthanasia, or murder, or it looks like it comes down to one's choice in life. It says that what fuels you is the only thing that comes loud and clear here is the fact that, when you are very connected to earthly possession, or what's going on in the physical world, and if that's what fuels you, and if you have no concept of what's spiritual, um, when that bubble get burst, or when your worldview is challenged, uh, that might be something that you seek out, and it feels like, this gives you more control, uh, and you feel like you that's a better way for you to leave. Um, with that star and Tower card. Star and Tower card. You know, it looks like with the Three of Cups is a card of celebration. It looks like they enjoy, they celebrate, they love, uh, knowing that they can make this checking out an enjoyable process, a comfortable process, not only for themselves but their family. And you know, people that does that feels that uh, uh, there's healing uh, in doing this, because in ending one's life like suddenly or quickly. So that's interesting. That's such an interesting reading. Oh wow, this is not something that I would have thought coming about. I would think that I would see the, you know, a different outcome, but it looks like people will decide to go forward. They look forward to facing their ending in a joyful way. They like the comfort that it brings, the comfort that it brings in ending, uh, uh, in going this way, that type of death, because it looks like it's more like a control thing. It gives them control, the power, and they celebrate it more in doing so. And they feel like there's healing in going that type of way, even though it's ending their lives and it's it sends a ripple, you know. It's controversial for sure. Now that's, yeah, with the juggling process, it's not it's it's not for everybody, clearly. And uh, there might be things there to further explore with that Two of Pentacle, uh, you know, to how well that those people are assessed, evaluated for this. And with the Knight, King of Sword, you know, maybe certain truth or information will come about the process itself, uh, who has control and who is supposed to approve those type of procedures. But this is such an interesting card. Thank you for sticking with me to the end of this video. I appreciate you. Thank you. Feel free to share, like, and subscribe. Thank you for hanging with me, and have a nice day. Bye.